11:47 p.m., April 22, 2026. The Supreme Court issued an emergency order that nobody saw coming. No press conference. No warning. Just a one-page directive signed by 6 justices that effectively ended permit requirements for concealed carry in 43 states overnight. Justice Thomas, Chief Justice Roberts, Alito, Gorsuch, Kavanaugh, Barrett, all 6 signed. The order language is direct and unmistakable. Permit requirements that condition the exercise of Second Amendment rights on government approval are stayed pending final resolution. States may conduct background checks, but may not deny or delay carry rights to qualified citizens. The permit era did not slowly fade out. It ended at 11:47 p.m. on a Tuesday night. And most gun owners across America have absolutely no idea it happened. And this is GunGuidePro. Let's break down exactly what this means, which states are affected, what you can do right now, and the critical mistakes that will still get you arrested if you do not understand the nuances. Before we go any further, subscribe to GunGuidePro right now and hit every notification bell available. We are a new channel and we are building something genuinely important here. Real-time legal coverage for gun owners who cannot afford to be caught off guard. States are already preparing their resistance to this ruling, and the legal battles that follow are going to move extremely fast. Every subscriber tells us this content matters and gives us the motivation to keep delivering this level of coverage for you. 2 seconds, free. Hit that subscribe button and that bell right now. Let's get into it. Let me walk you through exactly what this emergency order does. In plain language, because the details matter enormously and getting them wrong means felony charges. The Supreme Court has temporarily halted all discretionary and shall issue permit systems that require government permission before you can carry a firearm. The key legal language in the order is may not deny or delay. States can still run background checks. They can still maintain prohibited person categories, but they cannot make you wait weeks or months for a permit card. They cannot require you to prove good cause or proper purpose. They cannot exercise discretionary denial authority. The right to carry is now presumed, not conditionally granted. Presumed. If you can legally purchase a handgun after passing a background check, you can carry it concealed in public in affected states. States cannot add additional permission requirements beyond the background check itself. This does not mean a complete free-for-all. Federal gun-free zones still apply. Prohibited persons still cannot carry. State-level location restrictions that survive constitutional scrutiny remain in effect. And this ruling specifically addresses concealed carry of handguns, not open carry or long guns. But the fundamental shift is this. Before this ruling, the default was you cannot carry unless government permits you. After this ruling, the default is you can carry unless you are specifically prohibited. That is not a minor adjustment. That is a complete inversion of how Second Amendment rights have been treated in this country for decades. Drop your state in the comments right now. I want to know exactly where my viewers are watching from and which restrictions just fell where you live. Drop your state immediately. I personally read and respond to every single comment on this channel. Let me be specific about which states this changes immediately, because the impact is not equal across America. The 25 constitutional carry states are largely unaffected. Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, Florida, Georgia, Idaho, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, Maine, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, New Hampshire, North Dakota, Ohio, Oklahoma, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, West Virginia, and Wyoming already had permitless carry. This ruling creates a framework where their approach is now constitutionally confirmed nationwide. The 43 remaining states, every state with any permit requirement beyond an instant background check, directly affected. That includes all shall issue states with waiting periods. All may issue states. California, New York, New Jersey, Maryland, Massachusetts, Hawaii, Delaware, Rhode Island. Every state with training requirements that delay carry rights. Here is what changed overnight in specific states. In California, you no longer need to prove good cause to carry. In New York, the CCIA permit requirements are unenforceable. In New Jersey, the justifiable need standard is dead. In every shall-issue state, waiting periods beyond background check processing time are suspended. There is also a reciprocity dimension that most people are completely missing. This ruling creates a framework where carry rights apply more uniformly across state lines than ever before. We are heading toward de facto national reciprocity for the first time in American history. Which politician in your state do you hold most responsible for the permit restrictions that just got stayed by this ruling? Drop their name in the comments right now. I want to see who this community holds accountable. Here is the section that could save you from a felony charge, because there are 5 specific mistakes that will get you arrested even under this new ruling. Mistake 1, assuming you can carry anywhere. Federal gun-free zones still fully apply. Courthouses, federal buildings, post offices, airports, all still completely off-limits. State-level prohibited locations that are narrowly tailored, actual school buildings, secure government areas, likely survive constitutional scrutiny. Know exactly where you cannot carry before you carry anywhere. Mistake 2, carrying while prohibited. If you are a felon, domestic abuser, or otherwise legally prohibited from owning firearms, this ruling does nothing for you. You are still committing a serious federal crime by possessing a firearm. This stay applies only to people who are fully legally eligible to own guns. Mistake 3, not understanding your state's current enforcement posture. Some states are complying immediately. Others are instructing law enforcement to continue enforcing permit requirements until they are specifically sued for doing so. Know what local law enforcement in your specific jurisdiction is actually doing right now before you make any decisions. Mistake 4, traveling across state lines without research. Interstate travel with firearms remains complex. Some states may attempt to enforce their own laws against non-residents despite this ruling. Research before traveling. The legal landscape is shifting fast and varies by jurisdiction. Mistake 5, ignoring private property restrictions. Property owners can still prohibit firearms on their premises entirely. Carrying on clearly posted private property after being told to leave can result in trespassing charges regardless of whether carry itself is legal. Know these 5 traps cold before you exercise anything under this ruling. Let me give you the realistic timeline, because understanding where this legal battle goes is just as important as understanding what just happened. Right now, the emergency stay is in effect. Permit requirements cannot be legally enforced in affected states. Over the next 30 days, states will file emergency motions asking the court to lift the stay. Based on the 6-3 majority that issued this order, those motions will almost certainly be denied. In 60 to 90 days, oral arguments will be scheduled for the consolidated underlying cases. The court will hear full constitutional arguments on whether permit requirements violate the Second Amendment. In 6 to 12 months, a final decision is expected. Based on the emergency stay, legal experts are predicting a 6-3 or 7-2 ruling that permanently strikes down permit requirements nationwide. Here is the strategic reality that gun owners need to understand. Emergency stays from the Supreme Court are extraordinarily rare. The court issues them only when they believe the underlying restriction is likely unconstitutional and is causing immediate harm to constitutional rights. This stay is a powerful signal about how the court intends to rule on the merits. Anti-gun governors already know this. They are not waiting for the final ruling. They are already drafting replacement legislation. Free mandatory training programs, storage requirements, expanded prohibited location lists, designed to achieve the same practical restriction through different legal mechanisms. Gun rights organizations are already preparing to challenge every single workaround. The legal chess match is moving at extraordinary speed. What is your prediction? Will the Supreme Court issue a permanent ruling striking down all permit requirements within 12 months? Type "permanent win coming" or "states will find a way around it" in the comments. I want honest predictions, not wishful thinking. Here is your step-by-step action plan, because information without action is just entertainment. Step 1, verify your eligibility. Make absolutely sure you are not a prohibited person. If you can legally purchase a handgun, you can carry under this ruling. If there is any question about your eligibility, do not assume. Verify with a firearms attorney first. Step 2, get training even though it is no longer required. Just because the government cannot mandate training does not mean training is not valuable. It is essential. Learn gun safety, conflict de-escalation, your state's self-defense laws, and the legal standard for use of force. Responsible carry requires knowledge that goes far beyond legal permission. Step 3, research prohibited locations in your state right now. Download a state-specific carry app. Know every federal gun-free zone and every state-level restricted location. The legal right to carry does not protect you from criminal charges for carrying in the wrong place. Step 4, consider legal defense coverage. Organizations like CCW SAFE and USCCA provide legal defense coverage for defensive gun use situations. If you are going to carry regularly, legal defense coverage is responsible preparation. Step 5, document encounters with officials attempting to enforce invalidated requirements. Officer name, badge number, exact words, exact actions. Contact gun rights organizations immediately. Enforcement of requirements that have been stayed by the Supreme Court creates real legal exposure for those agencies. Step 6, support the organizations that made this happen. Second Amendment Foundation, Firearms Policy Coalition, Gun Owners of America. Their litigation work over years of grinding legal battles created the precedent that led to this emergency ruling. They need resources to fight the next wave of state workarounds. Step back for a moment and look at what actually happened here in historical terms, because this is easy to underestimate when you are watching it unfold in real time. For generations, American gun owners operated under a legal framework that treated the Second Amendment as a conditional right, a right you could exercise only after asking permission, only after waiting for approval, only after proving to a government official that you had sufficient need, only after paying fees, completing mandated courses, and receiving a government-issued card that said you were allowed. The Supreme Court has now said at the emergency level that framework is constitutionally indefensible. The default is liberty. Government must justify restrictions, not citizens justify rights. Heller established individual gun ownership as a constitutional right. McDonald extended that to every state. Bruen eliminated the interest balancing test and required historical tradition. And this emergency ruling takes the next logical step. You cannot condition the exercise of a constitutional right on prior government approval any more than you can require a permit before giving a speech or attending a church. The legal architecture being built here is deliberate and cumulative. Each ruling closes a loophole. Each ruling raises the constitutional floor. And GunGuidePro is here to make sure you understand every single development as it happens. What is your favorite Second Amendment ruling of the last decade? Heller, McDonald, Bruen, or this emergency order? Drop it in the comments. I genuinely want to know what this community considers the most important legal victory we have seen. Here is the absolute bottom line. The Supreme Court issued a 6-3 emergency stay on April 22nd, 2026 that effectively ended permit requirements for concealed carry in 43 states overnight. The default has flipped. You can carry unless you are specifically prohibited, not the other way around. Background checks remain. Prohibited persons are still prohibited. Federal restrictions still apply. But waiting periods, discretionary denials, good cause requirements, and bureaucratic delays stayed immediately. This is the most significant practical expansion of carry rights in American history. More operationally impactful than Heller. More immediately felt than Bruen. Because this one does not just establish a legal principle, it changes what millions of Americans can do tomorrow morning. But the fight is not over. States are already preparing workarounds. New legislation is being drafted in Sacramento, Albany, Trenton, and Annapolis right now. The legal battles that follow this ruling will determine whether this victory is durable or temporary. Here is what you do right now. First, subscribe to GunGuidePro and hit every notification bell available. We are a new channel, and every single subscriber gives us the motivation and the resources to keep covering these developments at this level. The next state workaround challenge could drop within days. Be here when it does. Second, smash that like button and share this video with every gun owner you know. The vast majority of people who carry have no idea this ruling came down because mainstream media is not covering it honestly. Your share reaches someone who needs this information today. Third, answer all 3 questions in the comments. What state are you watching from? Which politician do you hold most responsible for the permit restrictions that just got stayed? And what is your prediction? Permanent win or states find a way around it? I personally read and respond to every single comment on this channel. GunGuidePro is just getting started. The legal battles coming over the next 12 months are going to define gun rights in America for the next generation. Be here for every single one of them. Stay informed, stay armed, stay free. See you in the next one when we break down the first state resistance efforts and what you can do if local law enforcement tries to enforce invalidated permit requirements.